world of YouTube. Yesterday I was looking online on Google and I found some places, not in Pennsylvania, but in other states, if you live in Ohio, Michigan, California, or it was either Georgia or South Carolina. Some places are holding, in those states, 50s style Thanksgiving dinners, and my my feeling about if you're going to go to a 50s theme type of event, you have to be dressed in the style of what teenagers or adults wore in the 1950s. Um, um, Girls and women, if you're planning to attend one of these things with your husband or boyfriend, you you might want to look on Google Images, 50s women's hairstyles, or what women wore in the 50s. Google Images shows a lot of Halloween costumes, which are pretty much accurate to what women used to wear in the 1950s. And uh, men were more like women in the 1950s because men had to have their hair exactly a perfect style, the way they liked it, and they had to have clothes that looked like a rebel or something. Okay, sorry for that delay. Um, so like I said, if men were more like women in the 1950s, like I said, because men had to have their hair exactly the perfect style, and teenager guys needed shirts or clothing that made them look like a rebel. And okay, now fathers in the 1950s dressed completely different from their sons. The clothing was much different. Uh, to explain how I look more like a young teenager in the 1950s. Now, This is a hairstyle that was popular in 1953, before the crew cut really came into place. And to perfect this style, all you need is a little bit of loose hair glue, and you could find it in the hair and beauty section at your local Walmart, Target, so forth, if you have them. Yeah. You really need a loose gel to perfect the style, because in the 1950s, a lot of teenagers, especially girls, used a water-based type gel, but that's what mainly more population of the guys use. I don't know exact. I know what it's called. It's on the tip of my tongue. Just does walk them out, but it has like a water base to it, and it has some type of gel to it. It's hard to explain what the texture of it was, but that type of gel, it would make, like, if you were dancing to rock and roll music, it would make your hair fall out easy. Unlike today's gel, where your hair is like so stiff it doesn't even move. And pretty much you need to look for a gel like that, or get a very loose hair glue, which stays in place, but your hair can easily be moved around with. Um, Men, if you're going as a dressing up as father of the 1950s, essentially what you're gonna be needing is you want to get a plain white button down, maybe with ones with the collars that have the buttons on them, or ones that don't. It doesn't matter, but essentially what you need is a black tie, or a solid color tie that would represent what party you were politically, because some fathers were ultra conservative, ultra liberal, ultra democrat, and they would specifically wear at their workplaces, required them to use a straight blue tie, a straight red tie, or a straight black tie if they were a salesman, or so forth. That's essentially for men who are dressing up as fathers of the 1950s. But the ones who are dressing up as teenagers in the 1950s, the jeans you want to wear are Levi's. Wranglers didn't really come into play to the late 1960s. Um, but the best Levi jeans I could recommend you wearing are the ones I'm wearing right now. Late they're 1960s, but they're close to jeans in the 1950s. Even though 501s look similar, they came out in the 1980s. Uh, Guys, if you want to go like the pure, clean, no, you realize nobody's listening to words that you're talking to yourself. If you're gonna go as the pure, clean type of fellow, you wanna mainly have your shirt tucked in, maybe two buttons open. Uh, if you wear glasses, make sure you have a backup pair that look like these, that have like the square frames to them. These are more 50s related. And And, that's essentially important if you wear glasses. You want to have glasses that are 50s related or look like glasses in the 1950s. Now, guys, they're going to dress up as a bad boy in the 1950s. You want pay close attention to what I have on my hair right here. Fragments that are hanging down. You want to make it look like you're tough or that you've been in a fight. That's essential in the 1950s. You want to, a lot of the tough guys had that. They had the things hanging down. So that's pretty much all the information I have to be historically accurate to the 1950s. If you're going to one of these things, have fun.